What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Thor. His name is Suppe. This is the group stages. This is the be-all and end-all of Age of Mythology competition. This is the highest level competition you're going to see in Age of Mythology, possibly ever, possibly, at least for the Titans. Very exciting times to see what's going to be happening here. We just find a rhino over here for Suppe, which is very, very nice. He's also got a giraffe over here he can go to, so he's going to be very happy with his early game. At the very least, he's going to be not unhappy that he's found these giraffe, and there's a decent amount here. So we do, in fact, have ourselves a very, very interesting matchup here in this game. It's Thor versus Zeus, Suppe versus Ulysses. I'm pretty sure this is a matchup that we haven't actually seen very much of at all. In fact, this one is not the Thor versus Zeus matchup, but the Ulysses versus Suppe matchup. This is kind of like a tournament exclusive matchup to some degree, because Ulysses and Suppe, they're generally not playing at the same time zone. So things can be very, very tough to where that's concerned, to get them to like kind of get games played. I could be making this up and I could be very off, but it'll be really interesting to see the clash of styles where Ulysses here, he's a very, very kind of modern-esque Zeus player to some degree, at the very least, a very solid Zeus player. He's never going to be doing anything too out of the ordinary. He's just playing solid modern Zeus. And Suppe, on the other hand, is a very, very unique Norse player, to say the very least. So if Ulysses is used to certain Norse style and then he comes into play against Suppe's Thor style, you might get very, very surprised. Now, let's talk about a couple of strategies that we might see here from the Thor side of things, and the strategies we might see from the Zeus side of things as well. So Thor in this matchup has got two different minor gods, and both are pickable. However, I would recommend against Zeus to go for Forseti nearly every single time. Why? Because Forseti gives yourself access to Hall of Fame's Hersir, which help you dealing with those centaur pole marks. It also gives you access to trolls, which might also help against the Athena rush. Whereas Freya gives you access to the Valkyrie, the Freya or the Valkyrie, which is normally really good against Greek. I tell a lie there. It's actually not very good against Greek anymore, but it's not good against Zeus. It's not good against Hades. It's decent against Poseidon, right? So against Zeus, though, it just gets bolted. So you've got zero chance to find any value out of that Valkyrie. But we'll see what Suppe's going to go for. Ulysses, on the other hand here, he's got two options. There's only two options here for Zeus. There's a couple of other strategies which might be a little bit interesting for Zeus players to play into if they're expecting a certain type of defense from the Thor player, which might be a little bit of metagaming, and we can talk about that a little bit. But the two main strategies here for Zeus, obviously going to be the Athena rush with hoplites and toxotes, or the Hermes centaur hoplite strategy, which Ulysses has definitely popularized to some degree. He's a proponent of this strategy and likes it quite a bit. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here as Suppe is advancing through Forseti quite a bit faster than Ulysses here. He's almost advanced. He's going to be up 45 to 50 seconds faster than Ulysses is here. So the damage will come through very, very hard here if Suppe can find where Ulysses is on the map. Now, let's take a look at Suppe's perspective. Suppe knows. Suppe has found the giraffe, and he's going to be putting pressure onto that from the get-go. We also see the Jason coming onto this position, but the giraffe are already finished. So this Jason is going to get no value. We'll grab the Staff of Dionysus. I'm sure that Suppe does not care in the slightest about that. As the Hersir comes over here, we are starting to see the villagers shanking back Athena. Is there got a choice here for Ulysses after all is said and done? The troll making its way forward here, as well as this Hersir looks like it's going to have to retreat back for the time being here. Suppe does have access to the healing spring if he wants to heal this one back up. We'll see how things are going to go as the troll now getting chased around 4.0 speed versus 4.3 speed. That Jason, especially with the help of the Katoskopos, will be able to catch up to that one. But Soup can speed walk this back, start causing some disturbance to the Jason's speed by snaring it, as we also see the villager coming, or the bolt actually getting utilized there onto one of the Hersir, as we now see in the military academy archery range getting dropped down. Soup fully on the back foot right now. He's lost 2 Hersir thus far, and I don't believe he has lost a... I don't believe he has actually lost or picked off any villagers here just yet, as the Hersir does get to live here, moves all the way back into the main base where the healing spring is. We do see the Katoskopos coming in here as well, as Soup's just going to garrison that one away there. Pretty funny. That's all good, as we do see the Minotaur now moving in. Soup is going for what looks to be mass Hersir at this point. We have seen this work before for Soup in matchups of past, but will it work in this game or not remains to be seen. There's plenty of hunt on the map remaining for Soup. He's got all of these zebra over here. He's got all of the rhino on this position here. One of the big advantages of... God, he's going for Hall of Fames already. He's role-playing as Loki here. One of the big advantages of Thor is that you can get yourself up an armory. And the armory is a huge deal, and we are now going to start seeing Soup's villagers are under a lot of trouble right now. Soup here, he's eating that zebra. The unit's coming through. Soup will have to retreat back. He's now going to send the Hersir over onto this position, as the villager's going to be retreating away. One villager death is imminent here, as the Hersir coming through. This villager here almost getting taken down. We do see double Minotaur out here for Ulysses. Plenty of Hersir here to take these bad boys out. We'll see if he's actually going to be able to win this fight or not, as Hall of Thanes 50% of the way through. This Hersir here just about to fall. Soup's going to attempt to speedwalk this one away. He almost gets it out, but it gets sniped in the end of the day, as the Jason almost gets taken out. There he goes down as another Hersir about to fall. More Hersir coming in onto this position, as Hall of Thanes still not quite in, as the Hersir on this position about to fall. And it looks like Ulysses is getting some good trades, good micro thus far from Ulysses, and Soup has to retreat back to the main base. The villagers do come over onto these rhinoceros for the time being here. And Soup's going to pull back into his towers and try and defend against the squadron of Zeus units marching into his base. The one thing here that Soup has done, which is a little bit un-Thor-like, is getting that Hall of Fames early. Not playing as Loki is a really big deal. The big problem here for Soup that he's going to have to reckon with is that him just building Hersir here and spending 300 resources early game on an upgrade plus the 10 favor, that's a huge investment. Now houses starting to get taken out. Soup's gold mine now under siege, as we see husbandry coming through for Soup. He might be wanting to jump onto those goats here. There is still a little bit of gold left in the main base here for Soup that he can grab, as the house is going to be coming down on the back side there. Soup desperately needs to make sure he continues to produce units, because these Ulysses Athena rush is not going to be ending anytime soon. There's another dwarf falling at this point. Do we see anything coming out of this armory here? So he's got plenty of gold here at the moment. He could definitely utilize, or you could definitely use chucking those dwarves after this gold is finished up just onto the goats here to get all of the those Hersir out that he needs to get, or even another upgrade here as copper shields. He might want to wait for that to pop before he comes in, as the unit's coming up onto this position over here. We don't see Soup getting himself watchtowers or anything else, trying to micro Hersir into the towers to dodge those arrows. Nice play, snipes one of those Minotaur at the very least, as the dwarves at this present moment are in the middle of nowhere, to say the very least here, as the hoplites still coming in onto this position. We see the copper shields coming through at 65 population apiece here at the moment, as the Hersir are still getting healed back up. So long as Soup can keep himself alive here, he's going to be in a good position. I'd love to see watchtowers or something coming through here for Soup to just make sure he can hold on, as Ulysses are going to be pulling back at this point for Ulysses. Dwarves all idle, villagers idle. There's still restoration left for Ulysses as well, as the Hersir are going to be healing back up. The dwarves coming back onto this position as the units coming through. Soup's still got 273 gold in the back. Just chuck those units onto the goats, eat the goats up, make your Hersir like he's trying to. This full Hersir strategy here. He also needs to be thinking about getting himself some of those Dwarven Armory upgrades. It's vitally important for his success here in this game. As one Hersir here is going to pop out and try and retreat back to the main town center. You're taking a little bit of damage here as Suppe trying to keep that one alive. The other thing that Suppe could try here is just garrisoning all of his Hersir into the town center to get a little bit of extra damage done. It's now starting to see some thrown axemen coming out onto this position here. The houses have been spotted here as well. Suppe also inches away from getting discovered on that hunt over there, as it looks like Ulysses, he doesn't know, or he should know that there's rhino there, but I guess he just assumes that they're already eaten at this point. As now Suppe, he's going to I reckon Suppe actually would win this fight as long as he can get in there before the units jump into that forest over here as well. As the hoplites now going to be going after the Dwarven Armory, but that Dwarven Armory about to get bronze shields. One of the big differences between the Hersir, not just Hersir, but heroes and regular units, is that armor upgrades give yourself a 15% boost to the upgrades and everything else, as opposed to your regular 10% boost. As Suppe will be losing a couple more units here as he's still trying to fight underneath the restoration. Still no watchtowers up for Suppe. As the army's starting to take the fight. We do see the dwarves back onto the gold mine for the time being over here. Can he win this fight? He's got the bronze shields at the moment, which is a huge upgrade. Not making any effort into microing these Hersir at this moment either. The Hersir not having any access to like bronze mail here is allowing those hoplites to do a lot of damage over here. Meanwhile, units still pushing through here, still getting good damage done. We are seeing the dwarves attempting to shank away at this point as Suppe, he seemingly is able to survive for the time being. There's also, there's some lions over here. There's a little bit of hunt left in the main base. The villager's going to be attempting to sneak back over onto these zebra on this position here, as population differential here is still very, very close. There's a 10 population advantage for Ulysses. The villager differential is 5, so the population is still, it's much more closer than you would actually think in terms of military, and these Hersir are worth a lot. Plus, Suppe's at 100 favor, so Suppe could definitely be using a ton of villagers on wood right now to make trolls to hold on in this game, as we do see the units swinging through here onto this location, as the villagers grabbing this these zebra at the moment. He doesn't have any ox cart there, so they will be moving all the way back home, but he does get discovered there as the army comes through. Even more losses coming through for Suppe as he's pulling back into his main base. Plow coming through at the moment. Towers getting taken down over here as well. A couple of Hersir getting left in that tower. Forgetting about those is a big, big mistake here. It's the throw and axeman getting sniped down nicely by those Toxotes. The hoplites trading really, really well against the Hersir at this point. You know they're trading well because 34% hack armor versus 20% hack armor. Plus the HP is relatively comparable after all is said and done. And now Suppe has to retreat back into the main base. He's now down 40 population, and Ulysses' Athena rush has been successful as Suppe decides to tap out. Ladies and gentlemen, Suppe goes for something incredibly interesting in this game, but he gets punished by the strength of Ulysses here. This opening, we have seen it work before. I have seen him utilizing the Hersir plus the armory upgrades of Thor to win this matchup. However, the difference here versus on, say, like a map like Painted Desert, where he's had success on it, is that the map is a little bit smaller. Maybe it's a bit the same, but it's a little bit easier to attack, or to defend, I should say, and raid on a map like Painted Desert. Also, you start with the hunt. So that means that your starting build is going to be much, much better here as Thor, in order to maybe get yourself out a few of those armor upgrades a little bit earlier to make it work. But here's the real crux of the matter. What is important here in the early game is not Hall of Thanes. Hall of Thanes costs you 300 wood. And let's just put that into perspective here. It's 300 wood plus, what is this? 10% hit points. So when you think about how many extra hit points it's actually giving your Hersir versus how many resources it costs, it's just not worth it to rush this upgrade if you're being rushed. Because you're not going to be able to utilize that speed at all. Like, yeah, you can get onto some Toxotes, and that's going to be, you're basically now, your Hersir do counter the Toxotes in a big way here once you have the upgrade, but it doesn't matter because you're not going to be able to counter the hoplites. So what is a better way to open here with Thor? I like the idea of getting Hall of Fames eventually, but a better way to open here with Thor is dropping the second Longhouse at the start. So you go Temple, Barracks, double Hersir, plus a third Barracks with Throw and Axeman coming out. And then later, once you've kind of quelled the early game, because you do kind of win that early game quite hard if you just go straight into Throw and Axeman out of a Longhouse, then you can get your Hall of Fames. Then you can start raiding. You can also get your upgrades as well a little bit later, and it can be a lot more useful. Anyways, Ulysses gets this dub. He punishes the kind of offbeat Hersir opening of Suppe in this one. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.